Thinkorswimindicators.com, showing you another one of our custom indicators. This one is the BB Squeeze indicator. It's similar to the TTM Squeeze indicator, and what it's actually reading is the Bollinger Band and the Keltner Channels. So again, with the options down here, we have 15-minute and the next 4 higher time frames: 15, 30, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour displayed here, because we're currently on the 15-minute chart. And what it's doing on here, when you have the dots, that's going to be when the Bollinger Bands are inside the Keltner Channels. So when there's nothing going on, you're having sideways activity here. And then as soon as you start getting a Bollinger Band expansion, that's when you start getting the color change here. And you're going to get the color change. So this is an expansion to the downside. The expansion is trying to end here. It starts expanding again, and then it's ending here. So it's reading 2 bars to end. As soon as those 2 bars have ended, that's when it goes back to a solid gray line. So for the expansion, say for this one here, so you have the 15, 30, so 1 hour. So with this current stock right now, you have a 1 hour and a 2 hour Bollinger Band expansion to the downside. It's to the downside because it's red. So you have a Bollinger Band expansion starting pre-market. Then you have another Bollinger Band expansion starting at 11 o'clock. So before that, the Bollinger Bands are inside the Keltner Channels. The Bollinger Band starts to expand outside the Keltner Channels, and that's what this indicator is reading. So you have for the 1 hour and the 2 hour, you have 2 Bollinger Band expansions to the downside that don't end until the market is actually closed. And I'll show you the ending here. So we'll have 2 bars for the 1 hour and 2 bars for the 2 hour, and then it goes back to the gray bar. So you know during the entire expansion, and then you have 2 bars ending, and then it goes back to gray. So that tells you when you have multiple Bollinger Bands expansion, more than likely it's the stock is trending to the downside, and you read it as the more Bollinger Band expansions you have going in the same direction, the stronger it is. So if you just have one in one direction, it's not a very strong trend, but if you have multiple Bollinger Bands heading in the same direction, it's indicating a stronger trend to that direction. And just to show you how, of course, all of our indicators are automated, we'll switch this to the 30-minute and show you that everything is automatically updated. So now the second one is the 1 hour and the 2 hour, 4 hour, and 1 day. So you can see these 2 expansions for this day to the downside, and you can clearly see how the stock went downtrended the entire day. Again, the more expansions you have, the stronger it's indicated. And we have a sideways market here, and you can see there's no expansions, and you actually start to get the dots again, indicating that the Bollinger Bands went back inside the Keltner Channels. And all this is indicating is that there's sideways action. There's nothing going on here. And another thing that we have here is anytime that you do have the Bollinger Bands inside the Keltner Channels, you do have the dots, you're going to get the strength meter here. So the strength meter is if any of these time frames are in dots, it's going to show you the strength when the Bollinger Band is actually going to break outside the Keltner Channels, when you're going to get an expansion. Right now the strength is at 57. Anytime the strength gets to 100, that's when you have a color change from the dots to the actual color. That means the price is actually moving. So you can tell right now the strength is at 57. So you have no strength on that current time frame. So there's it's not going to expand anytime soon, and that's what that's reading. It won't expand, you won't get a color change until the strength is above 100. And to show you the different options we have for this indicator, let's get into the edit studies. So these are all the options you have for the indicator. You can, the indicator is the actual dots here. You're able to change the color there, the label gap. And for the labels here, you're able to put a gap in between there and change the colors. Long, stronger, long, weaker, short, stronger, short, weaker, and then the vacant. The vacant is just a line here. So any color you want to change, you can make it any color you want. Again, we have automatic and manual with most of our indicators there. And these are just the lengths. If you click on the question mark box here, it'll tell you the length to which the Bollinger Bands, Keltner Channels, average true range, and standard deviations are calculated. These are all the different calculations that we use for the Bollinger Band expansions. And you're able to customize it, put any calculations you want on there. You could change the way the indicator looks. Indicator paint strategies currently to points. These are the points here. So you could do points, lines, dots, whatever you want on there. You could change the line weight. And you could change the lines of the active paint strategy line weight and the vacant paint strategy line weight. And you can show or hide the labels, the strength labels. This is the strength, which ones are for the actual dots there. So you're able to customize these indicators any way you want. Change the colors, change how they look. We leave all the control up to you. So if you have any other questions on this, there's a contact on our website. Just go fill it out with any question you have, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.